Hello, welcome to Movie Reviews. Today I will be reviewing Spider-Man, released in 2002. The movie stars Tobey Maguire, Willem Dafoe, Kirsten Dunst, and James Franco. I will be looking at some aspects of the film: cast, age rating, release, story. I will start with cast. The movie stars Tobey Maguire as Peter Parker / Spider-Man, Willem Dafoe as Norman Osborn / Green Goblin, Kirsten Dunst as Mary Jane Watson, and James Franco as Harry Osborn. Let's move on to age rating. This movie is rated 12 for moderate violence and language. The violence consists of punches, kicks, stabbings, and slashes with bladed weapons. The language consists of the words jerk, ass, crap, and pissed. Let's move on to release. The movie was released in 2002 and was released in cinemas worldwide. Now let's move on to the story. The movie starts off with Peter chasing after a school bus as he missed the bus. Mary Jane, who I will now refer to as MJ from now on, tells the bus driver to stop the bus. Peter then arrives at the school trip to a science place. Arriving close by is Harry Osborn, and we are introduced to the villain, Norman Osborn.
Pete!
Hi, Harry.
Harry! Won't you be needing this?
Thanks, Ted. Peter, may I introduce my father, Norman Osborn?
Heard so much about you.
Great honor to meet you, sir.
Harry tells me you're quite the science whiz. You know, I'm something of a scientist myself.
They then take a look inside the science place and are being shown spiders. MJ notices that one is missing, but the tour guide shrugs it off. The missing spider then bites Peter.
MJ, let's go!
Wait. Thanks.
And then we cut to Norman Osborn telling some guys that he's made progress on the human performance enhancers. Then Dr. Strom says they need to take it back to formula, which surprises Osborn. The guys they are talking to then say that if Osborn doesn't improve in 2 weeks, they will cancel the contract with Oscorp. Peter then arrives home and then passes out, and then we see visuals of him getting his powers. Then we cut back to Norman Osborn starting human trials on the performance enhancers too early, which then causes him to gain superpowers. He then kills Dr. Strom, which then he jumps somewhere. And we cut back to Peter, who wakes up noticing he is now more muscular than the last time he checked. Then goes to school and notices a fork stuck to his hand. He then tries to remove the fork from his hand, but then notices a web coming out of his wrist. More webs come out latching onto someone's lunch tray. Peter then tries to yank the web off, but accidentally throws the tray onto Flash Thompson, and he then leaves the lunch hall, and him and Flash get into a fight. Peter wins the fight by punching Flash once. Then he runs out of the school and notices stuff coming out of his fingers. He then starts climbing up a wall in this iconic scene. Later, Peter looks to get $3,000 to get a car to impress MJ, so he goes to a wrestling place to get the money, which we get another iconic scene.
Sum of $3,000 will be paid to
What's your name, kid?
The human spider.
The human spider, that's it? That's the best you got?
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks.
the sum of $3,000 will be paid to the terrifying, the deadly, the amazing Spider-Man!
My name's the human spider.
Peter then gets in the ring and it conveniently becomes a cage match.
the guard, please lock the cage doors at this time.
Hey, listen. It's some kind of mistake. I didn't sign up for a cage match. Hey, unlock the thing. Take the chain off.
Hey, Freak Joe! You're going nowhere! I got you for 3 minutes! 3 minutes of playtime! What are you doing up there?
Staying away from you. That's a cute outfit. Did your husband give it to you?
After winning the match, Peter gets ripped off as the guy refuses to give him money. The guy ends up getting robbed and Peter lets the robber get away.
Hey! Stop that guy!
Stop him! He's got my money! Thanks.
What the hell's the matter with you? You let him go.
Cut him off in the lobby and call the cops!
You could have taken that guy apart. Now he's gonna get away with my money.
I missed the part where that's my problem.
And then he finds his uncle, Ben, laying on the floor with a bullet in his chest. Later we see Norman Osborn in a meeting where he is told that the company is getting sold. Norman doesn't like the idea. Then Peter goes to the Daily Bugle where we are introduced to J. Jonah Jameson, played by actor J.K. Simmons.
Who is Spider-Man? He's a criminal, that's who he is. A vigilante, a public menace. What's he doing on my front page?
Mr. Jameson, your wife is on line 1. She needs to know if you...
Mr. Jameson, there's a page 6 problem.
We have a page 1 problem, shut up.
Right.
Well,
He's news.
If they're really important clients, they can't wait.
they're about to.
He pulled 6 people off that subway car.
Sure, from a wreck he probably caused. Something goes wrong and this creepy crawler is there. Look at that. He's fleeing the scene. What's that tell you?
He's not fleeing. He's probably going to save somebody else. He's a hero.
Then why does he wear a mask? What's he got to hide?
Peter gets paid $300 for pictures of Spider-Man. We then cut to a parade where we are introduced to the Green Goblin. Green Goblin and Spider-Man fight, and Spider-Man wins the first fight. Green Goblin then attacks the Daily Bugle and captures Spider-Man. Green Goblin then monologues about how Spider-Man should join him so that they could take over New York.
An amazing creature, Spider-Man. You and I are not so different.
I'm not like you. You're a murderer.
Well, to each his own. I chose my path, you chose the way of the hero. And they found you amusing for a while, the people of this city. But the one thing they love more than a hero is to see a hero fail, fall, die trying. In spite of everything you've done for them, eventually they will hate you. Why bother?
Because it's right.
Here's the real truth. There are 8 million people in this city, and those teeming masses exist for the sole purpose of lifting the few exceptional people onto their shoulders. You, me, we're exceptional. I could squash you like a bug right now, but I'm offering you a choice. Join me. Imagine what we could accomplish together.
He then tells Spider-Man to think about it. Later, Peter meets MJ, and they talk for a bit. Then Peter notices people following MJ, and then he saves her, but then they do their iconic kiss. Next day, a building is burning, and Spider-Man comes to save the day and saves a kid. Then we hear a woman screaming, and he goes to save her. But then it is revealed that it is the Green Goblin, and Green Goblin asks about his offer, then Spider-Man declines the offer, and then they fight. Green Goblin wins the second fight. Then Peter goes back to his apartment where Norman notices blood drips on the floor, and goes to look but can't find Spider-Man hiding nearby. And then Peter arriving through the door. Then Aunt May notices the cut on Peter's arm. Norman then realizes that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Norman then leaves and the whole dinner becomes a disaster. Later, Green Goblin attacks Aunt May and Peter rushes to the hospital and then realizes that Green Goblin knows who he is. Later, Peter goes to call MJ but then realizes she has been kidnapped by the Green Goblin. Peter then heads to a bridge and we see Green Goblin holding MJ and a thing full of kids. Goblin then tells Spider-Man to choose between MJ and the kids, but Spider-Man chooses both and we get into the final fight in which Green Goblin dominates the whole fight until Spider-Man gains the upper hand.
We're gonna have a hell of a time.
Fight ends with Green Goblin dying by his own glider.
Godspeed, Spider-Man. Oh.
Spider-Man then takes Norman Osborn home, but Harry sees this and goes to grab a gun, but Spider-Man is gone by the time he's aiming the gun. The movie ends with a funeral where MJ reveals that she likes Peter, but he rejects her like a boss and the movie ends. Now let's move on to audience feedback. The audience loved this movie, and the movie receives a 7.3 on IMDb and a 67% on Rotten Tomatoes. Now for my review. This is one of my most favourite superhero movies with my favourite superhero, and I love how this movie is in general, with Tobey Maguire playing a convincing Peter Parker and Willem Dafoe's almost terrifying performance as Green Goblin. This movie is filled with enough action and drama to keep you entertained the whole way through, and gives Spider-Man a 10 out of 10. This has been my review. I'd like to tell you all to have a nice day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.